Okay, hi again.
Yeah.
Hi. We're going to have our second part of discussion.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. You were talking about. I don't know. You want to continue your what you were talking, or I can ask a question. Um,
Yeah.
I know that actually you and Aldana, dear Aldana, are a representative of Prix Jeunesse International.
Yeah.
And it is the most important children's TV festival.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I myself didn't know this festival. And it was very, I am very curious about having information about this festival, because I myself work in children's field. As you know, I do animation, and
Yeah.
it is very interesting to know, to have information about this festival.
Yeah. Well, the Prix Jeunesse International already exists almost 60 years.
Yeah, but I didn't know.
No, I don't know. I understand. And it's funny because it is a French name, Prix
Yeah,
Jeunesse
I know.
International, but it's in Germany. It's in Munich.
Ah.
It's in Munich, and it's every other year. So this year it
Uh-huh.
was. We had an online conference and festival. Usually some 500-600 delegates from around the world, from 60-70 countries come there, and they see a selection of the best programs from children's TV around the world. So it is
Nice.
a TV festival, which
Yeah, I
means
see.
that you can only enter films there or programs that have been aired on television channels.
Yeah.
And since it is such a big representation, everybody can enter. It's a free festival. You don't have to pay. The festival offers really good low prices for accommodation and stuff. That's why it is so many people access that festival, and that's why
Nice.
we nickname it the Oscars of children's television.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And there you can meet in times post-corona, of course. You can meet people, filmmakers, television makers, heads of TV, directors, scriptwriters, researchers. It's also interesting. It's one of the few festivals where there's a really strong representation of the researchers as well. And like I said in the first part of our talk, we have to research all the time because we are no kids. And so that research that they do and publish and present on the festival under the name of ETSI, that's the research center connected to the Prix Jeunesse International. And both of them are headed by Dr. Maya Götz. That research that they do is so valuable. I can give, after our talk, I can put some links as an answer to our live registration, because it has a huge library of great research that is done on media and children. And
it's very great.
I was very lucky to win the festival several times, but also that my programs have been researched a lot. So, which was great because my philosophy, my theory, Children in the Center, was also sometimes criticized because they say that you know it's too free, kids. Anyway, it was many critics, but they did a lot of research on the programs and the way kids reacted to it that helped me to say, look, this theory is not just a theory; it really works. And of course, I could show the results of my programs on Dutch TV, the ratings, but also the awards. And that is not why we do it. We do it only for the kids. But sometimes, as a defense, it's great to have research to show that, look, this is really how kids appreciate it. So what they do a lot in their research is showing programs to children, and at the same time putting a camera on the TV set while filming the kids that are watching it.
Uh-huh.
So you can really see how they react to images.
The reactions.
Yeah, and it's such a great learning tool. So that is Prigines International. And when there's no festival, so in the 2 years in between, they put together what they call a suitcase with the best programs, the most controversial programs, and maybe the most whatever, a suitcase of very interesting programs from that festival that will travel to different places around the world for workshops. And I are one of the workshop people that we do a lot of this kind of Prigines suitcases in different places around the world.
Yeah, that's nice.
And it's so important to see, because imagine that your film would be in part in such a suitcase, and it goes to travel. They make research reports, and you learn from your own program and from the kids in countries how they react to it. Well, I had that opportunity, so it really helped me to shape, but also to believe in my philosophy, Children in the Center, that is based on autonomy of children, to really believe in the autonomy of children, and it's based on anarchy in content.
I see.
Which means that, like I said earlier, if you are stepping into children's television because you are a mother or whatever, I said the television will be boring.
Yeah.
Because then it will not have that anarchy element. Because you will not do something that is against your own taste, against your own principles. But sometimes children learn from that. So sometimes we have to cross our own taste, to cross our own rules, if you know that it works positively for the kids. And so I always say that I'm not so interested in if a program looks educational. I'm much more interested in the effect of that program on education for that child that watches it. And sometimes,
yeah, sure. It should not be direct education.
Exactly. And sometimes it means that what you show and tell is not fulfilling the ideas that adult people have about educational TV. But I don't care. I'm only interested in, I do this to create an effect that helps the children to learn or to grow, whatever. And that is the tension. That is the tension we have to look for. And I was very lucky that in my country, in the Netherlands, at least so far, there was a lot of space for different views on society, on religion, on culture. So the possibilities that we had and to make a complete big variety of programs, not just follow one style or one, has given me the opportunity to develop within the public TV, my Children in the Center philosophy on the platform of the KRO National Public Broadcaster. And by doing that, I could become better, I could learn it better, I could try show it around the world, I could get feedback. The Prigines did research, I met a lot of people in debates, and that's what we need to grow. That's because we are not, there's no university for children's television.
Of course.
So we have to learn while doing it. That's a great thing also, that we have that possibility, that we learn by doing it.
Right.
And this is how I could really shape that Children in the Center philosophy, that what is that autonomy, what is that anarchy element. But of course, it is also criticized a lot, because not always my programs looked like, they're not political correct, and they didn't look like the quality or the education that people were used to see. And I did it not to provoke, I did it only because I was completely dedicated, and I'm still, to the children and looking at the effect that it has on the children and what they learn from it, how they grow from it.
Of course, and maybe it should be done to change the taste. Maybe the taste of the generation is not correct, is not right. We have to change the taste of them.
Well, I would say a little less strict as you say it.
Okay.
I always say we have to change nothing. But we have to provide options. If there
to
are
have
no
an affection.
If there are no options, they cannot choose. So if they see lousy TV and there's only lousy TV, they have no idea that there's something else.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have to provide options. And of course, the option that we really believe in ourselves, we will fight stronger for that. But it's a little bit, I always use this in my workshops, an example. The thing is, the biggest misunderstanding of parents or adults and children is that, and with good intentions, we want the children to become like us, to become even better like us.
Yeah. Sure.
So we want something from children. And in my philosophy, we have to let that go. We only have to provide the options. It's like this. For instance, you're a football father and you're completely crazy about Boca Juniors in Argentina. You get a son. Your son is born. You buy the little football shirt, you put the kids on, and then the kid is 14 and it says, no, I don't like Boca. I want to go to River, which is the opposite. It's unbearable for a father or a mother or whoever is crazy about the football. But that is the right that the child has to choose.
Of course.
And that is the most difficult thing in life.
Yeah, of course.
So that's why what I tried as a parent, and I try the same in media, is give options, show the different possibilities that there are. And hopefully, because they see great, beautiful possibilities, they don't take the bad ones. And usually could be, but still, if they want to move from Boca to River, we have to accept it. And that's really hard. So also, it's the same with, for instance, we have this problem today that many farmers want their kid to take the farm. But many kids don't.
Children don't like.
They don't want, because it's hard work. It's difficult. So how does it feel for a father to see that what you build for, what you work hard for, and your kid doesn't take it? And it's difficult to say then, but the kid has the right to choose something else. It's difficult. And there are traditions, of course, and maybe in some cultures it is unacceptable that a child is not following the parents. There are cultures like that. I've been in many countries, and okay, then this is a real difficult thing. I personally believe in that autonomy, and that's why I'm working hard that there are a lot of options, that we don't bring one mainstream TV, but we create a great, challenging area. And
options.
I think that is the first thing we have to do. And again, then you come to that point that the quality of children's media represents the quality of the country. If you have a rich variety of programming, it represents how your country is. If you have one style, or you have one maybe even political dominated programming, it says something about the country. And for me, the thing is that kids need to express, but not just to express whatever they think of, based on getting information well, getting inspiration, and then choose.
Yeah, of course.
So often people say to me, children in the center means that you want the kids to be completely free. Not completely free, yes, in their choice, but not a choice based on nothing. That's the problem today with news and information, that kids live in a bubble. They get only the same opinion by their friends, and they think that is the truth. So it's important to open your mind, and that's more and more difficult. That's more and more difficult when media are kind of closing them in. And that's why the work that you do, festivals. Think of the Nelson Mandela Children's Film Festival, where we met 3 years ago.
Yes.
Kids got an opportunity to see films they could never see on TV.
Of course.
And imagine what it does to a child. It did to me, it did to my children, and it will do to anyone. So that is what brings the energy to create new things, but not by being ignorant to also the limitations or the needs that children have.
Yeah, very, very correct. It's a hard job. I think it's really hard job.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
you're doing.
how do you, for instance, if you have to write a story, how do
Mm-hmm.
you prepare? How do you make the empty sheet full of words?
Because I write for children.
Yeah.
I try to see the needs of the children. I try to see from their eyes. I try. I'm not absolutely. I cannot absolutely be in their place, but I try to see from their eyes, and I I get help very much from my daughter. You know, my daughter had made an animation. You have seen
Yes.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She's in my hashtag Quarantine Live YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is hard. I always write, and I read for her, and she had sometimes many comments for my writings, and I use them. I try to use them. It's not an easy job, as you said, but I try to read more and more children books. I try to see more and more children movies, so I can get the idea of what children like.
Yeah. So you do research exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
About.
yeah,
And
yeah.
of course, it is not always possible to do research with 3,000 kids, you know, but to have the reference of a child that you know very well, so you also know how to interpret her reaction,
Yeah,
and to see movies, to discuss. It's the basis. It's the basis to grow. Yeah, I
yeah,
fully agree. I fully agree. Yeah.
yeah, right. And I talked about the my hash quarantine life, which you had created during these days because of the COVID-19. It was really an interesting work, and I think there were so many movies in
Yeah.
your YouTube channel.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, it was March, I
Mm.
think mid-March,
Yeah.
and Italy was the first European country to go in lockdown
Mm-hmm.
because there were suddenly so many people infected, and so suddenly kids were not going to school anymore, to their
Mm-hmm.
clubs, to their friends. They were put in the houses. And then in the Netherlands came the discussion, should we go into lockdown? And then Spain went into lockdown. It all happened very quickly, Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, okay, now it's much more difficult for people who work with kids, making films with kids in drama, documentary, news, whatever, television programs. They cannot film the kids anymore. But we still need to know what they think, what they feel about what happens to them.
Right.
And basically, media in general are not much interested in their stories. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
fighting for that this kind of stories and opinions of children also are heard, especially when they are well informed, they can balance a thought, and they can take a position. So I thought, okay, but today at least many kids have access to mobile phones.
Yeah.
Many kids are already filming
Mm-hmm.
for social media, 10, 15-second pieces. What if we ask them to make it a little bit longer and tell a little bit more about themselves, or show what they're interested in, so we learn to know a little bit more about them, what they feel about quarantine, or just maybe they want to entertain us to keep the spirit.
Yeah.
So on March 17, I started to make a YouTube channel, Facebook group, Instagram, TikTok, and I used some other social media that I have access to. And then the next morning, because this idea came up in the night, and no, this idea came up in the morning. And at that moment, in Argentina, it's night, and I wanted to talk to Adana. I said, Adana, the moment she was away, look, we have to do something. And I started a YouTube channel. What do you think? No, and so we created the new name, my #quarantine live, which was important because #quarantine live, #quarantine live is not only is used by adults to tell about their quarantine life. So by making this title, my #quarantine life, the films of the kids are also seen by adults. So it's not just kids telling each other, which is important, but also adults can have access to their stories and maybe learn from it. So it became my #quarantine life. We made a short tutorial to explain. We need 60 to 90 seconds. Tell in the beginning who you are, where you are, and that's it. Do whatever you want, tell whatever you want to share. And we get loads of stories. We have already over 100 stories from more than 20 countries. And not only on the YouTube channel, it's very much watched. Also, the Facebook group is very active on the other social media. And also what was important, that the goal behind it is to make the world also aware, what about the children? Look at the children. Ask them, think of them. So we were asked in many countries to do interviews, to talk about it like I'm doing now. And so we could tell that children are important. Don't forget them. So it was, it serves many different goals. But what I like a lot is about this project is that now I'm not the filmmaker. They are the filmmakers. And sometimes they manage to make some shots, but editing is another thing, you know, it's also a technique.
Of course.
So they send just the material to us and we edit it, and we subtitle everything in English and in Spanish.
Nice.
And so we have already 2 of the big languages of the world there. I wish we could do more, but we're only with, only with 1.5 person. So, but Spanish and English, and yes, and it's so great to be in touch with the kids.
Yeah, it was.
The thing they really appreciate is that they are part, like your daughter, they're part of an international channel.
Yeah.
But next to her film is a film from Argentina, from Mexico,
I've
Zambia,
seen.
from Ukraine. You know, that's amazing, and also to see how sometimes the kids reflect to each other. They have seen one video and they want to make something like that. Or they encourage. They want to say at the end, okay, keep the spirit, go on. You know, so
because they were the same feeling. All of them have the same feeling. There's the same problem and the same feeling.
Yeah.
But different point of views, maybe.
Yes.
To the
environments. I mean, we really wanted to have kids from, let's say, rich to poor. Well, of course, it's very difficult from my house here to reach to places where I'm not connected. But I think we have quite a good representation of kids in absolutely different circumstances. And sometimes they really are opening their feelings about quarantine. The thing that most of the kids say when they talk about school is, okay, I have online school, but it's not real school. Real school is with friends.
Yeah.
They really miss their friends.
Yeah.
And isn't that great that what we learned from the quarantine is maybe we, in the world, we have the most fights with people among each other. But when we're in quarantine, we start to miss them.
Yeah.
So let's at least take the good things out of this period
of course.
time. And the kids do. They're always optimistic. Even though a girl in Mexico says, well, quarantine really don't like it. It's boring. And she decided to make a schedule for fun. So let's say Saturday, 6 o'clock, I'm going to play with water. Sunday at 11, I do this. So it's amazing how kids, solve things. They're so creative.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. There comes
Yes, of course.
There comes the creativity again, because now they're in a situation that it's demanded to be creative.
To be creative.
You don't go to school. There's no normal things anymore. So you have time, and suddenly you get bored. Okay, how you get out of your boredom to be creative? So
limitation brings creativity.
Yeah, yes, exactly what we talked about, isn't it? And of course, yes, and to see that also, but also the techniques, the styles of filmmaking that they use. Some of them are really, in a more adult approach. Other kids have really social media style of telling a story, and it's also interesting to analyze that. So now we have this 100 and more films. I think it's an incredible research tool. So I invite everybody who is watching here to go to YouTube, to find my #QuarantineLife, and to watch these videos, to research them, to share them maybe with kids and see how they react. And maybe it leads to other kids making videos.
Yeah.
So we really make a big document of these months that the whole world at the same time was in quarantine. Isn't that?
Yeah, it is very
unique in our history. So
yes,
that's why we had to do something.
Yes, thank you so much for all you have done for children.
Well, it's I don't know. On one hand, it's also a job. I always say when people say, "Yeah, but you travel to all the world." Yes, but other ones are in traffic jams every day. So I'm in a plane. But the great thing is, yes, the fact that I can share in different cultures, different countries, and that gives a lot of motivation. Also to meet kids and to see them watching and learning and growing from things, but also to see the things that they can achieve. And I think if we can just change the world a little bit, that we look a little bit more to the strength, the power, the competences that they have, instead of the things that they cannot do the way we do it, then we are really changing the position.
Yeah, of course. I hope it will get better and better, because our passion is children, and we are trying to make the world better for them.
Exactly, and media can be absolutely.
And media can
change. Can help.
Have a great role. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jan, for the talk. If you have something else to add, I think I had all my questions. But if you want to say anything else, I'm here to hear.
Well, I've been talking, I think, an hour and a half now.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, you can put me here, and I will talk until it's dark and then the lights off and the electricity is gone. But I think the key points were, okay, what is creativity? Why is it so important? What is the position of children? What can media do? And what have adults who are in positions of working for children have to change in themselves? I mean, that is also the thing. Even though we have maybe 50, 60, 70 years of tradition of making media for children. I mean, in the Netherlands, the first children's TV program was in 1954. We're still, I always say, we're still in prehistory. We start to learn how things work for kids. And I think it's very important. That's why I like very much the work that the Prix Jeunesse Foundation is doing together with ITZY. Research, analyzing, discussing, sharing with each other on places like the Prix Jeunesse or other festivals or conferences, or online like we're doing now.
It is very important.
Us, and if it helps us, it will help the children.
Course.
And I think that's what we all want.
Of course. Thank you so much. I have learned many things. Thank you. I myself have learned. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, and have a good night.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye.